Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting, and I was in two minds in making this video because it sort of perpetuates the exact thing that I hate, but in a way I really don't think people should be getting away with stuff that's been going on recently online on Facebook and in the groups, especially when it involves a personal friend of mine and also involves somebody that has helped me out over the past couple of years and has been very good to me. So what am I talking about? Well, in the Pew Pew UK group, there was a post by Paul Oglesby, who I'm sure many of you will know is I think the founder and owner of Lantac. And Lantac is a big firearms manufacturer within the UK and the US. In recent years, they have certainly more diverted concentration to the US, but they still make a selection of AR-15s within the UK, including the very much anticipated 9mm straight pull that has been posted on their sites. Now, Paul posted a number of pictures of his guns in this group, and somebody quite innocently asked, any plans for a 22 WMR? Now, some of you already know as well that Northwest Custom Parts and Riflecraft are bringing in or making 22 WMR rifles, and a lot of people are very interested in these, and I think there's already a number of pre-orders, and we actually have one coming in to review very soon with Gunroom TV, because it could be a big change. It allows you to shoot out to further distances, which allows 22 practical rifle within the UK to expand a little bit, which will be great to see. Now, in response to this question of a 22 WMR, Paul quite clearly states that they're not interested. But instead of just saying that, they're potentially unreliable, maybe there's not enough interested in them, or any of the reasons of why they're not doing it, he decided to take a number of shots at Wayne from Northwest Custom Parts, saying you can buy one from Fat Wayne at Northwest Chinese Parts. Which, I don't know, what do you say about that? This is the owner of a very well-known company, and actually for the most part fairly well-respected company, and he's making personal digs at UK companies. Then to go even further, Paul makes a dig at a close friend, Dan Smerald. And you may have seen Dan on the channel. He actually bought a very lovely custom Chris Defiance, one of the nicest ARs that I've seen in the UK, like honestly, and it's the only other AR that's made me even contemplate switching from the Smith & Wesson 1522. And then Paul says on the end of this comment, message Smerald as he has a magnetic attraction to crap. Now, whilst I find that quite funny, because Dan and I always have back and forth, and sometimes his builds are questionable. His tactical underlever that he had built from the ground up and heavily modified, it was a Marmite gun. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But it was high quality. What Dan doesn't skimp on is the quality. It may not be to everyone's taste, but he doesn't mind putting the money in and getting a high quality output. And again, somebody of Paul's standing within the community to then personally attack somebody that's never been a customer, has, as far as Dan and I are aware, have never personally attacked Paul or Lantac online, I think is a massive step over the mark. And that's saying, potentially saying that even the Northwest Custom Chinese Parts comment isn't over the mark, which again, I personally think it is. In this sort of time, we need to be unified as a community, and people like Paul need to grow up a little bit. I'm sure he's not going to like me saying that, and I know that's probably a little bit rich coming from me, again, from all the things that I've said in the past. But he does. People like Paul should be conducting themselves a lot better. And I don't take the excuse of it was in a group, it's closed. It's not, it's public. This is all around the internet. And if the general media get hold of this sort of stuff, what does that show about the shooting community? Somebody who owns a very large company within the industry is resorting to this. And I think actually, moreover, it says more about Lantac as a company than it does Northwest Custom Parts or even Dan's taste in firearms. To go even further, because of the sort of storm this has created online, it's flagged the attention of a few people and the similarities between a couple of products. Now, Lantac released a new product recently, and it is their UFA-S Ultimate Forward Assist. And it's meant to be a low drag upgrade forward assist for an AR-15. Unfortunately for Lantac, it looks almost identical to the forward control design LDFA low drag forward assist. And a number of people have already asked them, well, this is obviously a copy, what's going on? And I've also had from a couple of people as well that there is going to be a cease and desist letter sent to Lantac because of this. Whether this is just a big misunderstanding, I really don't know. And I would really welcome if Paul ends up watching this or anybody from Lantac ends up watching this, please feel free to get in touch. I'd love to hear your side of it. And if it is a misunderstanding and it can be completely clarified, I would be interested in also voicing that side as well. The reason I didn't want to make this video is to make more of something than it needs to be. But if people are allowed to continuously do this, to divide us, to throw mud at each other, we're not going to progress as a community, especially when the people doing it are people like Paul, people that should be the most professional with our industry and should be representing our community and industry to the highest possible standard. So where this is going to go, I don't know, but I've already seen a number of potential customers, existing customers of Lantac, basically say that they're never going to get their money again. Unfortunately, from what I have seen online, I mean, I've never met Paul, I've never talked to him directly, so I can't say anything about him as a whole. I've never dealt with Lantac either, but I have heard a number of comments and criticisms about their customer service. And if existing customers are now saying that they're not going to get their money, it's not going to be good. But with what I understand with Lantac, unfortunately, I think the UK is a very small piece of the pie for them. It's very much the US market that they're focused on, and it's probably going to make very little difference to how Paul sleeps at night or any of the Lantac crew. It's just such a shame. I have had the pleasure of shooting Lantac rifles. They are very nice rifles, they're very accurate, and from what I have seen, they are reliable as well. It's just unfortunate that they seem to have such a bad reputation with their customer service, and the sort of owner seems to not really get the premise of good PR. But we'll have to see where that goes. I will obviously keep you informed. It may just fizzle out to nothing. As I said, when a personal friend of mine gets attacked, it does get my back up. Unlike other sort of rant or bad news videos, I don't want to just end this one on a low. So that's why I've had this sat in front of me, and there is Connor's behind the camera, my adult supervision. So don't worry, I'm well in accordance of section 12(1) of the Firearms Act. But this little beauty, obviously a Walther PPQ, you know how much I like these and how much I like the 9mm versions as well. I've shot that plenty of times out in the Czech Republic and the States. But this is actually the new suppressed version, which is very interesting and also ticks a lot of boxes for people as well. You can also see that it's got the slide mounted red dot, and this is actually a Shield RMS. I do actually own a Shield, I've never used it, and I don't think I've actually ever used a Shield in general. So for me, seeing this and having a look, it gives me sort of two birds, one stone, to get to see the suppressed version and the sight. Obviously, as you all know, I won't be able to shoot this, Connors will, and we're going to be making a GTV video on it, basically testing out how well the suppressor works compared to the standard version, and I'm sure Connors is going to give a load of feedback as well on the sight. So there we go, trying to end this video on a little bit of a high. That's really all I have to say. I think at the end of it, we do just need to try and conduct ourselves a little bit better online and not get into these little scraps. We all have our weaknesses sometimes. Mine's Mike Yardley, obviously. Paul's is Northwest Custom Parts, and the crap magnet that is Dan Smerald. But there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, I hope to see you soon.